From the Joy News Center. This is News at 8.
Good evening. This is the primetime news here on Joy News or Multi TV. I am Gifty Andopia. Coming up in this edition, families of those who died in the Kumfi coronation accident demand bodies of their deceased relatives, even as Regional Security Council announces measures to prevent such tragedies. Textile Workers Union wants government to allow clampdown on pirated textiles to resume to save jobs in the sector, describing the decision to suspend the operation as ill-informed. Gender Ministry moves to regularize licensing of orphanages as it emerges only 9 of 133 are licensed. Meanwhile, the shelter for abused children, faced with serious challenges affecting its operations, wants parents to come and claim their children. And the Adenta Municipal Assembly wants changes to redevelopment of aviation lands, where clashes last week during a demolition exercise ended in one death. You know, we also have sports, business and showbiz, as well as international news, all coming up. If you stay with us. And on to the details now. Family members of those who were killed in the tragic shooting accident at a coronation in the central region are demanding the release of their bodies so they can start with their funeral rite, even as investigations continue into the incident. They also want support from government, particularly for one of the deceased, a 40-year-old Kojo Nyago, who left behind a pregnant wife and 6 children.
According to the family of Kojo Nyago, the deceased was the breadwinner whose loss will be greatly felt, especially by the immediate relatives. 4 persons were killed in Saturday's musketry during the installation of the chief of Isachir, Nana Esel. 2 others who were injured, one in critical condition, are at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. According to eyewitnesses, 60-year-old Anthony Forsen fired the gun that caused the tragedy. One of the only 2 females who was hit is said to have been treated and discharged.
Me buy, we buy now, we see more community center. Now, one ounce, 1 man information there. We be 2 man, sana, for or camp for him. And you know, so no, a bassa, 1 ma again, so you are was announcing you there. A cruise with him, Waka.
Meanwhile, the Central Regional Minister Samuel Sapong, during a visit to the bereaved families, has warned the public to desist from using live ammunition during such celebrations, indicating that anyone who flouts the directive would be dealt with according to the law.
See, I don't know, sure said, suppose if we Niman Tentaba, also the quarter give for advice. Now, told you, the beginning of a accident, the Baruko Woko. A funny pass. It is a crab, it's me, I can't say, Mr. Moore. Yeah, we shall form a fasa cognac about Boyaco. Now, Master Assembly also. Any friends say we shall follow one from 1 day, any kita na nipa no one see near you assembly and getting involved.
The culprit, who is in police custody, is expected to be charged. Georgina Pierce report for Joy News.
Minister of Chieftaincy and Culture, Dr. Osei Dana, meanwhile says criminality should not be allowed to taint the chieftaincy institution. He was reacting to the tragic deaths that happened at Barima in the central region over the weekend.
Chieftaincy is not the same as criminality, and people should not be allowed to commit crime just in the name of chieftaincy. It tends to spoil the name of the institution. If you are adoring a chief, yes, you fire musketry, but you don't have to use bullets. This is the point I'm making. But the moment bullets come in, then it's no more celebration. This is something that is an age-old tradition. You know, and when things go well, nobody complains about it. It's just that when things like this happen, you know. And so, of course, we could look at it as a nation and then decide that probably one of our customs or practices, tradition-wise, which we should probably modify or change will be firing or musketry. But I don't think we've got there yet. But the point I'm saying is that if things were done normally, the way they should be done, would this have happened?
Away from chieftaincy now, the Textile Workers Union wants government to allow the anti-piracy task force on textile, which was suspended about a month ago, to resume operations immediately. Explaining the decision to ask them to stop their clampdown was ill-advised. At a news conference on the issue, the union said the jobs of its members are threatened for as long as the operations of the task force remain suspended.
President John Mahama, following pleas from traders affected by the operations of the anti-piracy task force, called for its temporary suspension.
I'm going to ask the Minister of Trade to allow a moratorium of the work of the piracy task force in order that together with the market queens, they can carry out education to the women about the effect that pirated textiles have on our textile industries. If they can spend another 3 months and go to all the markets and educate the women, show them the different types of textiles and how to determine the pirated textiles so that the women are aware that, you know, you're not allowed to do this. I think that it should help the situation.
But the General Secretary of the Textile Workers Union, Abraham Kumson, has challenged the claims, insisting that the Trade Ministry distorted the facts presented to the President.
He has been misinformed. It means that the President was not told the truth. Our concern is to help us to tell the government that what the women are doing is not in the interest of the state. What the Ministry of Trade is doing is also not helping at all, because they are condoning in illegalities. The complicity of government is very clear, because we are talking about illegalities. And we say, no.
According to him, the operations of the illegal importers and their dealers are bringing the textile companies down to their knees and threatening jobs in the process.
The losses reflect on the, workforce. And as I've been saying, an industry that used to employ close to 30 million, 30,000, 25,000 to 30 million in the 80s. Now we have less than 3,000. Okay, so it's a clear indication that something has gone amiss. Suddenly, if we have to stop the activities it's task force, it's really unfortunate.
The union, meanwhile, insists it is not against textile imports, but rather against the imitation of trademarks and logos of local firms, an infringement of their intellectual property rights. Matilda Pamaga for Joy News, Accra.
Now, nearly all of the country's orphanages face closure for operating without licenses. The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection is, however, not shutting them down yet and is giving them some months to regularize their status. According to the ministry, only 9 out of the 133 orphanages it is aware of have operating permits.
According to a communication advisor at the ministry, the 9 orphanages with licenses include 3 owned by government. The lack of data on these institutions means there is very little or no monitoring of the activities.
Information reaching us based on our findings is that a lot of them are not licensed officially. That is, those that we have on record is that we have 133 orphanages, and out of those 133, only 9 are licensed. So what it means is they are operating, but as to how they are operating, what they are doing, it does not meet the required standards, and so we need to ensure that these policies work.
An initiative of the ministry is, however, seeking to bring all the orphanages in line. Those who, however, fail to comply will be shut down.
It's like I'm saying, it's a whole program that we're rolling. So we're going to be giving them this period. Then they will be given some grace period because of the children. Now, as we do the assessment, those orphanages that do not meet the required standards would have to be closed down. It's about time that we insist that the right thing is done.
She adds, with the care reforms initiative set by the ministry, measures will also be put in place to reunite orphans with their families.
We are looking at information about them. So this is, like I'm saying, is work in progress. So we are going to complete the profiling and ensure that we reunite them with their families, because otherwise then what it means is that those true orphanages or those truly vulnerable children do not have that kind of support that the society would offer them. So they would have to be reunited with their families.
The Ministry for Gender, Children and Social Protection has also developed a national child protection policy designed with the country's family system in mind. It is to ensure adequate protection and welfare of all children. Matilda Pamaga for Joy News.
Also related, the Shelter for Abused Children is making a desperate plea for inmates who have been in its care for some time now to be claimed by their parents. Most parents, according to authorities, are refusing to go in for their children, even though they are aware the children are housed at the shelter. And this is because a lot of the inmates may have one medical condition or the other. Georgina Mensah, who heads the center, says it is encumbered with too many challenges, which makes the upkeep of the inmates virtually impracticable.
Though it is known as a shelter for the abused, the facility houses other distressed children. They are victims of trafficking, juvenile offenders of the law, and also a junior correctional center for girls. Francisca is one of the few children at the shelter who can express herself. She explains how she got here.
My mother traveled, then said I should not get out. I and my sisters, the time it was Christmas, they said we should get out. The time we get, then I went and lost, and a man bring me here. When I go, maybe then I'll go and lost again. So like I want my mother to come. The man will bring my mother here.
Others are trafficked children who manage to escape from their masters when they can no longer bear their conditions. The rest find their way to the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit of the Ghana Police Service, which in turn brings them here for shelter. Another inmate, Kekeli, understands nothing and can't also speak a word. He cannot sit either. That's why we found him lying on our visit.
This boy was brought from Isawam. He cannot talk. I think he has learning challenges. He cannot give you any meaningful information about himself. He behaves a little bit abnormally.
Kekeli nods as if he understands all that's happening around him. Some of them are hyperactive, whilst others have autistic traits. Georgina Mensah believes most parents know their children are here.
Children can always be corrected. Even for those who have committed offenses, we are here, we are showing them love, and we expect their families, their biological families, to team up with us so that we try to reform these children. And then for the abused ones, some, because they have challenges, physical and mental challenges, they have been neglected by their families. We have been placing them on TV, and we know that their families see them. We want to appeal to them to come for them so that we will link them to resources where the children can get to lead better lives in future.
Most of the children here have similar stories, though they are unable to narrate them. Like many government institutions, the Shelter for Abused Children and Correctional Center is fraught with many challenges, with funding being the most serious.
The government tries to do its best, but that is not enough. We want civil society to also come to our aid and help us take care of these children.
Sources close to the institution tell Joy News food allowance for a quarter is 300 cedis, a paltry amount which apparently never comes in good time. It is obvious with all these challenges, the facility will be unable to provide the much-needed solace that these young ones deserve. That's why the authorities are desperately reaching out to parents out there to come for their children, with a promise to assist them raise the children rather than completely abandoning them at the shelter. That's only by name. Gifty Andropia, Joy News, Osu, Accra.
Now to education. Now, some 1,330 students who managed to gain admission into the Cape Coast Polytechnic this year have been warned they will be dismissed if they are found to have entered through fraudulent means. The warning was issued at the 20th matriculation, where the authorities also expressed concern most senior high school leavers turn to the polytechnics only because they failed to gain admission into the universities.
The warning comes at the back of negative perceptions that polytechnics are inferior to universities and that a greater number of senior high school graduates opt for polytechnic admission only after several failed attempts to get admission to the university. The situation, according to the rector of the Cape Coast Polytechnic, Dr. Lawrence Atepo, makes it very challenging for polytechnics to get their full complement of qualified students, indicating that intake of students into polytechnics has gone down significantly. The rector was speaking at the school's 20th matriculation ceremony to officially welcome the students into the school, challenged the government to prioritize vocational and technical education and sensitize the youth on its significance to the country's development. He touched on the issue of converting polytechnics into technical universities and called on stakeholders involved in Cape Coast Polytechnic, including lecturers, to work hard for the school to become one of the first polytechnics to be converted to technical university.
We are making every necessary effort to be ready by 2016 for the conversion of polytechnics into technical universities. I believe that you will, beyond the euphoria of being a matriculant, know your mission for coming here and thereby focus your energies and resources towards achieving your goals.
Dr. Atepo, however, urged the students to avoid occultism, among other satanic practices on campus. The school has, however, introduced some professional courses, such as Chartered Institute of Marketing and Management Accountancy, National Institute of Information Technology, among others, and students are required to take advantage of such courses.
You're still watching the Primetime Bulletin here on Joy News on Multi TV. We'll take a very quick breather. When we return, we still have some more news. Please stay. You're welcome back and many thanks for staying. Now, the Adenta Municipal Assembly is proposing some changes to the redevelopment plan for the aviation lands in the municipality, where some occupants clashed with the police in a demolition exercise last week. Among the proposals is an increase in the land allocated to the assembly. One person was killed during the demolition exercise to make way for the project, estimated to cost more than $10 billion.
The consultants for the project, the consortium, said to be working for government, moved in last week to evict the occupants of the vast stretch of land said to be about 640 acres. The deceased is said to have been killed in an exchange of gunfire with the police, who were providing cover for the exercise. Originally acquired for the use of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, the vast land was gradually being taken over by auto mechanics, container shops, carpenters, as well as some churches. The consortium says the plan for the project will accommodate a suburban commercial center along with housing, which aims to help decongest the central business district of Accra. But the assembly also has some ideas of its own and is yet to approve the project, which falls within its jurisdiction.
The presiding member made it very clear that the Adenta Municipal Assembly, and for that matter, assembly members, were never against the project, taking into consideration the inputs assembly also raised, because they said at least the portion of land being earmarked for the assembly should be increased a bit, because the assembly is a new assembly and the future development activities will require more land. Then also, a local content should be taken into account. The traditional authority should be specifically told this is how much land you will be taking, so that they know, as it were, it is just the allocation on paper.
The former municipal chief executive has been named as one who gave the go-ahead for the demolition of the illegal structures on the land. But this, the coordinating director of the assembly could not confirm.
The former MCE did not order any demolition. And for that matter, the assembly did not order any demolition. As you're already aware, assembly only went out to inform the squatters there to make way for a national project that is going to take place there. As to who ordered the demolition, I know the former MCE didn't, and that is how it is.
The coordinating director appealed to the squatters to relocate to pave way for work to begin on the project.
Now, the 6th Biennial Conference of Commonwealth Hansard Editors Association has been opened in Accra. The 6-day conference will engage delegates on methods used by Hansard departments within various parliaments in the light of changes in technology and governance systems.
The conference will afford African delegates the opportunity to share experiences and exchange ideas on how to report on contemporary parliamentary proceedings. Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, Edward Doe Ajaho, in his keynote address, lauded the essence of the Hansard and charged both African and UK delegates to contribute positively to deliberations.
I believe that during your deliberations, you will explore the challenges and responsibilities that you face on day-to-day basis in maintaining the traditional Hansard hallmarks of accuracy and impartiality. I do hope that deliberations at this conference will produce nothing short of appreciable results.
Doe Ajaho further reiterated the need to increase the human resource capacity of the Hansard Society in Ghana in order to strengthen parliamentary democracy and encourage greater public involvement in politics. President of Commonwealth Hansard Editors Association in Africa, Akim Umusanda, commended Ghana for her proverbial hospitality and highlighted on some core issues that will come up for discussion at the conference.
The 6th Chair African Region Conference seems evolving parliaments. Hansard meeting the challenges is an opportunity for sharing space with ideas, reviewing the progress made by the parliaments represented here. I wish to appeal to my colleagues, fellow participants, to take this meeting seriously and participate actively in all the sessions.
Some delegates spoke to the news team about their expectations.
I've come here to network with fellow colleagues, Hansard editors from other Commonwealth African countries. I intend to network so that together we can sit down and see the problems within our parliaments, and we can find solutions together that work for us.
My expectations to this conference is to see every Hansard function worker, sharing experiences, and where possible, imparting knowledge to some of people that may need this information to make sure that Hansard becomes an information center for each and every legislative assembly.
Now, Country Director of the United Nations Development Programme, Dominic Sam, has commissioned 2 mechanized boreholes for 2 communities in the Upper West Regional Capital, Wa. Dominic Sam noted that peace is a prerequisite for sustainable growth and development. He also asked that all efforts must be made to ensure that decades of sustained development are not undermined by violent conflict. Rafiq Salam's report from Wa.
The United Nations Human Security Project is a 5-year period project with focus on food security, human rights and sustainable livelihoods. It is also used to bring warring factions together through dialogue and are empowered through livelihood projects such as the growing of ruminants, provision of milling machines and water. The program is being implemented by 6 UN agencies, namely WFP, UNIDO, FAO, UNICEF and UNU. The Wa municipality, classified as one of the conflict-prone areas in the country, benefited from the project. The 4 communities benefiting from the project are Nairi, Charia, Fongu, and Sukbayiri. The Wa Municipal Chief Executive, Isaha Kunuhu Putiaha, acknowledged that the UNDP program on human security has helped reduce poverty and maintain peace in the selected communities.
Each program has a lifespan, and so it is incumbent on the beneficiary communities to prepare sustainability measures so as to ensure that the program continues to yield fruits to our people when UNDP finally withdraws. I wish to state that the Municipal Assembly will continue to provide a convenient environment for the implementation of all the activities that are being implemented in the municipality by UNDP and other development partners. I know that the irrigation scheme at Chere will soon take off. We shall also provide logistics to security agencies to ensure that peace is sustained in our communities.
The UNDP country director, Dominic Sam, stated that his outfit is delighted to be part of the joint effort over the last 4 years in bringing smiles to members of these communities, especially women and children.
Peace is a prerequisite for sustainable growth and development, and all efforts must be made to ensure that these decades of sustained development are not undermined by violent conflicts. This commissioning and symbolic handing over of the water project is yet another occasion for us to demonstrate our commitment to partner with government, local leaders, citizens, and other key stakeholders to not only enhance access to clean and safe drinking water, but contribute to human development while promoting intercommunal and interpersonal relations for peaceful coexistence.
An existing borehole that was mechanized at a cost of 25,000 Ghana cedis by the Japanese government was commissioned by the UNDP country director. The spokesperson for the women group, Sahada Tumuniru, on behalf of her colleagues, expressed appreciation to the UNDP group.
Long distances to go and queue for water for long hours before we will get water for our domestic shores. But the mechanization of this borehole has really brought a lot of relief to the women and children of this community. When it was the unmechanized one, people like us still had it difficult pumping the water. But now that it's been mechanized, all that you have to do is come with your pan and then you fetch and then go away.
A similar meeting was held in Naijihi to commission another borehole, which was drilled and mechanized at a cost of 38,000 Ghana cedis through the main UNDP Human Security Project Fund.
Abigail Adumako Enchi will join me soon after this break with some business news. So up in business tonight, we talk about the much-awaited CDB loan by Ghanaians. And Abigail, what's happening on that?
Well, the processes have started and soon we would realize that loan. Well, let's hear what the ministers have to say about it.
Okay.
So, Abigail Adumako, and it's time for some business reports. Now, officials of the China Development Bank are expected in Ghana this week to work out processes for the release of the remainder of the $3 billion loan for infrastructural development. Government has expressed concern the country continues to pay commitment fees on the loan, though it is not being disbursed at the expected rate. Ghana has received just about $600 million so far. Deputy Finance Minister Kwaku Ricketts Hagen told Joy Business some more agreements need to be signed before the country can assess the loan. The Deputy Finance Minister adds government is liaising with other ministries and agencies in preparing specific projects to be undertaken with the loan when released. Well, away from that, the National Communications Authority, NCA, says it expects all telecom operators to put in place a new billing feedback system for their subscribers by March this year. The system allows prepaid subscribers to have full details of call cost per minute as well as outstanding balance immediately after their call. According to the NCA, the directive has been prompted by numerous complaints by subscribers they are being shortchanged by their network operators. Director General of the authority Authority Parog Van Persie tells Joy Business they would take the necessary action on telcos that fail to comply. He, however, denies the authority has failed to sanction operators for regulatory breaches. Checks by Joy Business reveals that Airtel and Vodafone have already started implementing the new system. Now, the National Lottery Authority, in collaboration with the police and the Western region, has arrested 32 persons from Second D Takoradi for lottery fraud. The suspects are alleged to have contravened the National Lotto Act, which makes illegal lotto operations a criminal offense. A statement released by the National Lottery Authority cautioned the general public to desist from dealing with illegal lotto operators or face jail sentences if convicted. It adds that landlords who rent their property for illegal lottery activities will have their property confiscated to the state and also fined. Meanwhile, the NLA says investigations are ongoing to pursue and arrest illegal lotto operators across the country. Well, that'll be all for business. I'm Abigail Adumakwenchi. Do stay on for more news.
All right, so let's quickly find out what's the latest in the world of sports, and you should know by now, it's all about the FIFA Ballon d'Or for 2013. We have the winner. A bit of surprises, though, with how it went. Cristiano Ronaldo emerged the winner. Lionel Messi was the second. Frank Ribery, who had won a lot of trophies, ended up third. Let's just have a look at what happened while that award was given to Cristiano Ronaldo.
The name is... ambition, Cristiano Ronaldo.
All right, so Cristiano Ronaldo there, like they say, behind every successful man there's a woman. And when he won the award, he turned to the woman in his life. Very interesting over there now. Cristiano Ronaldo, winner. And Messi coming in second. All right. Now let's shift it a bit. Let's talk about the local Black Stars. They claimed all 3 points after a scrappy victory over Congo at the African Nations Championship in South Africa this afternoon. Theophilus Anoba's effort in the 34th minute was deflected into the post with Congolese goalkeeper Moyaki left beating in the opening Group C fixture at the competition reserved for only home-based players of the continent. Here are some highlights of the game.
For the senior side taking them to the World Cup. So they're giving the second in charge a chance here for them to see what they got in Dolesi. So ball played on the far side, cleared away this time by Ghana. Kobena Osei, 26-year-old from Accra in Ghana, plays for Santa Kotoko. His 11th care for his country. Eman Nkodia, long one penalty area, cleared away this time by Saka. Falls short, a shot taken. Teammate. Now it's a long one played in, cleared in long side, and cleared away, connected again by Congo. Shot taken, deflected away of the Ghana. Let's have a look at this goalkeeper. That is man for AC Leopard. Now shot taken. Now chance in it, just wide. Doesn't really get things to stand in Ghana on a 2-2 play. Chance in deflected off. Oh! It is the opening goal. Unexpectedly so, he was not taking a shot, was trying to go around his marker.
All right, we can talk about another special awards out there, surely. And the Sports Writers Association of Ghana has revealed the Sports Personality Award for the 2013 award scheduled for May. And that will be contested by Black Stars coach Kwesi Appiah and captain Asamoah Gyan. Suleiman Tari, Kwadwo Samoa, and of course, Asamoah Gyan make the shortlist for the Footballer of the Year category. Black Stars coach Kwesi Appiah will be contesting his team captain Asamoah Gyan for the flagship SWAG Personality of the Year award to be handed out in May. The award is an annual accolade given to the most impressive athlete in the year under review by the Sports Writers Association of Ghana. Appiah was nominated alongside the Black Stars skipper and female weightlifting sensation Juliana Aku. The Black Stars coach has already been considered as the overwhelming favorite for the prestigious award following his historical qualification of the side to the 2014 World Cup. The ex-Asante Kotoko defender will, however, pick up the non-competitive category of the Coach of the Year award. The Footballer of the Year award is being contested by Suleiman Tari, Asamoah Gyan and Kwadwo Samoa. Janet Eyeyem would also be awarded the Female Footballer of the Year for her outstanding performance with the Ghana and the 17 female team. Right. So just before I leave you, let me quickly update you. Ethiopia lost to Libya by 2-0 in the Chan competition. So you look at what's happening. Libya currently top of the group. Ghana second in that group. We'll be looking forward to our next game. That's all for sports. My name is George Adi Jr. Gifty joins us with some more. You have a good night.
Sports was brought to you.
Some sad news in showbiz. The final funeral rite of legendary high-life musician Dr. Pabobo has been scheduled for April 5 this year at Achim in the Eastern region. The compromise was reached during the one-week celebration of the veteran musician over the weekend at Marseille.
The funeral, according to the family, will start on April 4th and end on April 6th, with grand funeral and burial taking place on the April 5th. The date was reached at a meeting with the family of the deceased led by barima.asare, chief of Achim Ahuniase, the matrilineal home of the ace musician, and representatives of several musician bodies. The musician born Moses Kweku Ejapon Danima in 1955 died whilst on admission at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, where he was being treated for lung and liver complications. The late Pabobo began his music career in 1968 by learning how to play the rudiments of guitar from Bertrand Smart and Kansa, and later mentored by Chief Kofi Sami, who later traveled with him to Nigeria, where he formed the Three Axis Band. For more information on the funeral, keep watching this space.
May his soul rest in peace. But that's it for showbiz. Okay, I have one more showbiz story for you, but it's been a while since we went on social media platforms to read to you your comments. So let's take some few comments coming in about the musketry that killed 4 people in Ekumfi. Now, Wadon Emmanuel Stanley says this is never an accident, and I'm tempted to believe that these innocent souls were used by these corrupt elders to outdo their chief. Live bullets are never used for such occasions. For how many good reasons, I guess you want to say, did they arrive at using live bullets? Lives are lost and the law must take its course. Philip Kweku says, very sad. And Amwabing says, graduated from gunpowder to bullet, involuntary killing 4 people. Still, it's manslaughter, but I can promise you that it will end nothing. This is not the first time that accident I guess you want to say like that has happened in Ghana, and we should be serious and sit up. Brain cute Amponfi says, this very sad witness. May the lost souls rest in perfect peace. Please, one must be careful with guns. And indeed, one must be careful with guns. Now, Carl Adi Aiku says there's more to what meets the eye. Simple logic, cause they've been used as human sacrifice to outdo the chief. And Chris Men says it is unfortunate. Eva Tony says what a sad story. Anna Nanado Richard White says the culprit must be jailed. Abdul Ghania Sahana says, oh, what a pity. I hope JM will not be blamed for this, says Francis de Chelsea. Dennis Andaban says ignorance is not an excuse to the law. The one who loaded the gun must be arrested and investigated immediately, because we are talking of 4 lives here. Such barbaric acts must be looked at. Why shooting in public? Our laws are loose. Okay, so those were your comments about the coronation process that ended in the death of 4 persons. But let me tell you what Efia is doing. Having won the Best Female Vocalist 4 times at the Ghana Music Awards, Efia over the weekend decided to launch her new single, Forgetting Me Not, at the 2+233 Jazz and Grill Bar. She said her single release is the beginning of new things to come for this year.
+233 Jazz Bar over the weekend hosted the media, friends and family of the award-winning songstress Efia for the launch of her new single, Forgetting Me Not. Speaking with Efia, she explains her idea behind the release of a new single.
The song, it's called Forgetting Me. It's actually a song that is talking about not forgetting, but it's about how you say it. It says, I want to know if you have forgotten, so I will not remember you forgetting me. In other words, like if I find out that you've forgotten, it will be easier for me to forget you too, because then I know that you're not worried about it as much as I am. So it's a song about letting go the right way so that you're not affected. And it could be anything, your love life, your work life, your relationship with your family or your friends, because sometimes people offend us and sometimes we just need to just let it go.
It was a successful night for her, and patrons were through with her hit songs.
I never ever let nobody get this close until I met you. You made me brand new.
If you're there doing her thing. But that's it for the bulletin. Our top stories for this hour. Families of those who died in a Kumfi coronation accident demand bodies of their deceased relatives, even as Regional Security Council announces measures to prevent such tragedies. Textile Workers Union wants governments to allow clampdown on pirated textiles to resume to save jobs in the sector, describing the decision to suspend the operation as ill-informed. And the Gender Ministry moves to regularize licensing of orphanages. As it emerges, only 9 of 133 are licensed. Meanwhile, the Shelter for Abused Children, faced with serious challenges affecting its operations, wants parents to come and claim their children. And also, Adenta Municipal Assembly wants changes to redevelopment of aviation lands, where clashes last week during a demolition exercise ended in one death. My name is Gifty Andopia. Many thanks for your time. Do enjoy your evening. But coming up next is PM Express.